Greetings, comrade, and welcome to the Leftist Time Machine. My name is Billy. This video, real quick, is an introduction showing you what kind of content you can expect going forward. There's going to be two parts to this video. Part number one, we're in right now. Part number two is going to be a kind of why I'm doing this and who I am segment. That portion was filmed previous to this one. I filmed it first, got that out of the way. Went and caught a cold, which was super cool. Came back, got a haircut, and now I'm filming this today. All that is not really necessary, to be quite honest. But anyway, the kind of content that I'll be posting here on my channel is going to be a mixture of three things. One, I'll be doing some short commentaries on current events, something, let's say, come across my news feed and I want to commentate on it. It'll be a lot less structured and kind of just slapdash, film a reaction, throw it up here. Topic number two will be some of my writings. I do a lot of writing about varying different things. I'm writing a paper right now on a Marxist perspective of the military machine. That's about done. I'm going to start filming that hopefully very, very soon. If it's done, I'll link it up in one of these corners if I figure out how to. But number three, the primary focus of this channel is, as the channel name would hint, is leftist history. I want to go back and kind of highlight some lesser known anecdotes and sometimes fun little stories about key moments in leftist history. You see, it's my belief that broadly across American academia, leftist history and leftist stories, leftist figures often go undercovered, for lack of a better term. It's inherently revolutionary perspective and outlook on things. It ends up getting kind of swept under the rug, and I don't know if that's deliberate. A few people on the left would say it is. I mean, for all the years I was in school, be that through public education and a small stint in college, I was just floored by the amount of information that I was not getting, because, you know, for one reason or another, that these figures who I've come to really admire and am just endlessly fascinated with, they're just not talked about, which I just find honestly appalling at this point, given the wealth of information and the vast array of just inspiring activists and breathtaking individuals that we're just not aware of. So it's my hope to do some kind of cursory, broad overviews of some of these figures and little stories that I choose to highlight. Some will require a more thorough analysis. Of course, that will be depending on the subject. Now, on to part two. You will see a different looking Billy wearing the same clothes. They have been washed since that first filming, in case you're curious about my hygiene for whatever reason. Yeah, without further ado, here is 2 weeks ago Billy, and yeah, enjoy. I managed to curtail it in the first couple minutes you just saw, but this point going forward, my language will become increasingly inappropriate, as some people would deem. I curse a lot. I have a very foul mouth. I get a little worked up sometimes. So you're gonna hear some fucks, you're gonna hear some shits, assholes, cocks, jerk-offs, all that kind of stuff. Just imagine you're watching a Martin Scorsese movie about some asshole on YouTube talking about politics. So that's about it. So now, here's Billy. So who am I? It's a question that I think two of you are asking. The short answer is this. I'm a comic-obsessed film junkie who plays piano and bass. I have a cat, and I am a open and proud communist. Simple as that. But what drives me most is politics and the fight to liberate the working people. That's what drives me to buy a camera, buy a microphone, and put my voice out there. For a while, I wanted to be a toy reviewer and a movie journalist, and you know, what have you. All that rung hollow for me as a driving force. A lot of it just really amounted to nothing substantial. But I want to paint a picture for you real quick. Give me a couple minutes for this, like 5 minutes or so. I want to start back in 2016. What was my political awakening year. A lot of people in my generation were vehemently opposed to Donald Trump, his rhetoric, and all that he stood for. It was a rallying cry for people to really wake up a little bit and to understand that when left unattended to, we get a Trump who is going to rise to power and really fuck things up. So I was hardcore on the Hillary train, incredibly dedicated to the cause of making sure Donald Trump never reached the office of presidency. And yeah, I rode that train hard. I was really, really hoping Hillary Clinton would win.
Motherfucking mutt, you fucking piece of shit! Yeah. Come on.
And I think I can say that's a good thing. I'm thankful that he won, because I do believe that had Hillary won, I would have just stuck my head in the sand. So we have Trump in power, and I am going into my second year of college, and I'm going all in on journalism. I actually was going to school for journalism to be a film critic and a film reviewer. I was like, you know what, fuck that, I'm going into politics. So everything Trump said, I was vehemently opposed to. I was consistently just in awe at the shit that came out of his mouth and his policies that he was passing, and it was a bad time, but also a very good time for uniting the general left in America. Regardless of where we stood in the Democratic coalition, we all could unite under the anti-Trump banner, and that was good. That was all well and good, because it came down to 2020, and we voted Trump out of power, and he left. He left. But what stayed, and this obviously depends on who you ask, but what stayed were his policies. Trump never left office. Trump's ideology never left power. It just got a new face. I think you need to look at objectively the things that Biden is doing in order to really come to the realization that I've come to, and that is that the Democratic Party is no more a friend to the working class than the Republicans are. I mean, there's a reason that the Democrats campaigned so hard in 2020 and made all these lofty promises of national health care, student debt relief, wage equality, environmental action, all that stuff. They were telling us, they were putting on posters and billboards around the country. They were going to protect women's rights. They were going to everything. Police reform, lowering the military budget to actually help at home. And they got in power and did not a fucking one of those things. Nothing. Not one of those goddamn things did they accomplish. And I don't even know if they tried. And no matter what reality shows them, and no matter what bills the Democrats don't pass, and what laws they fail to enact, they're going to blame the Republicans who don't vote, which is partially fair, but they're also going to fall back on Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, or whoever the fucking scapegoat is this week. And that's it. They're going, oh, well, sorry, they didn't cooperate, so fuck off. No, that's not how this shit goes. We saw all too well that when Trump took office, the Republican Party, they fell in line. And those who didn't fall in line were fucking booted from the boat. They're like, we're going to primary you, we're going to strip your committee seats, we're going to pull your funding. Democrats have all the same tools in their tool belt, all the same strings they can pull, but they're softer. Or they just genuinely don't give a fuck. Because if they cared, they would put an actual effort into it. More effort than just fucking tweeting and telling us to write our congressman. None of you fuckers care what we say. So what makes you think that Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin are gonna fucking care what we say? They don't care, as you guys and the Republicans have proven time and time again. No matter what the fuck we say, shit doesn't happen. You want us to write to people and say, oh, please, Mr. Oppressor, sign on to the Build Back Better bill. No. That's your fucking job. Where's the whip of Congress? Where's the fucking guy saying, get the fucking line? Or go on CNN and say, this guy's being a jerk off. Call him out on his bullshit. Don't make me and other dickheads on Twitter point out that Joe Manchin has a controlling interest in a coal mine. Or his son does, I don't know. No, of course, you won't get on TV and point that out, because the second you do, they'll throw the mud right back in your fucking face, because you're just as entrenched in the fossil fuel company as those two. So you can't point that shit out, because suddenly we'll hold the fucking mirror up. They're both owned by the same class of people. They're still owned by the 1%. I always ask myself, how many interviews and how many books do we have to read where these leaders of industry, these tech giants, all openly say that they donate equally to both political parties. That way, no matter who wins, their interests are protected. And you and I, we don't have $5 billion to throw away at a fucking president. We're not the Koch brothers. All we have is the power of our vote, which we're told is the most powerful thing in the world. And how can you still believe that? How can you still believe that? We've had Democrats in office for a year and a half, almost 2 years. And not one of our lives are better. In fact, I would argue we're worse off. And it's not an easy thing to sell a liberal, that this is the reality we live in. And I sympathize with that. I sympathize with it completely, because for the first month or so of the Biden presidency, I was like, man, he's going to kick ass. We're going to push him to the left. He's going to accomplish all these beautiful, wonderful things, and it hasn't happened. And it was just like a slow motion gut punch.
Don't make me have to do this, please. Come on. Don't make me be a bad guy. Come on.
Fuck you.
Fuck me. Fuck me, you motherfucker. Fuck my mother.
Son of a bitch. It was a tough pill to swallow. But once I opened my eyes and was willing to accept the fact that the option is not a Democrat or a Republican. The option is a third party. The option is a people's party. And I think that the battle I'm fighting right now is to get the already left-leaning individuals, the liberals and the social democrats, and to push them further to the left, further toward my coalition of people. True socialists, true communists. And I think we need to pitch them the idea that a better world is possible. A better world is what we're all fighting for. But we got a pep in our step, because we realize the time is up. We can't go another 4 years of Republican control, potentially 6 years, actually. We can't afford it. And we can't keep doing the whole America falls down this well of right-wing control, and then we come back and get Democrats control, and we're happy for 4 years. And then Republicans come back and we're sad, and Democrats come back and we're happy. Can't keep doing that. That's what got us here in the first place. It's this constant volleyball back and forth, changing hands of power, when in reality, it's a fucking pendulum. The person swinging the string is the ruling class, controlling both parties. And who pays for it? We do. And the two parties are serving the same master and pitting us against each other, and the only ones hurting are us. And I think that before I take on the right-wingers, before I try to convince, a Donald Trump supporter that Karl Marx is the fucking dude, I can convince a liberal of that a little easier. And suddenly the far left becomes powerful, becomes organized, becomes united. Once that happens, it's game over for the establishment. But it's going to be a motherfucker to accomplish, because we got to pull a lot of heads out of sand. But that's why I'm making this channel, because I want to connect with people. I want to engage with people, show them that there is a better world, and there is a fight that we're not fighting because we're too busy fighting amongst ourselves. And if there's one group of people that is all too familiar with fighting among themselves, it's fucking leftists. But at the end of the day, at least I believe, we all fall back on the same core values of expanding the definition of human rights and seeking out a world where one class of people does not oppress the other. So that's where I find myself, wanting to organize on the ground level, go out and touch some grass. We need to go out and actually get in touch with our humanity again and realize the fact that we're not just walking political ideologies. Some people would say naively so, but I believe that we have goodwill in our hearts and souls. We have a desire to see each other thrive and be happy. But we are so deeply entrenched in this survival mode that our compassion suffers because of it. Even liberals who stand for human decency and inclusion and happiness for all, if they see somebody wearing a MAGA hat, they wouldn't bat an eye if they see him get run over by a car. That's a level of cynicism and inhumanity that our general politics leads us to. It's a disregard for basic humanity based on our political ideologies, when in reality the ideologies we're championing don't even represent what we need ourselves. So if you're wearing a Biden-Harris shirt and you come across a person wearing a MAGA hat, well, in my eyes, you're both equally fucking duped. And it's my hope and desire that once we collectively realize that both parties do not stand to help us and won't even try to help us, that's where true change can come from. True change is not going to be accomplished by putting another Democrat in office or putting a Republican in office. That's not how things are going to be changed and how things are going to get better. It's going to be with the people. Once we are mobilized and once we are educated, then there's no stopping us. So if these silly little videos that I make on YouTube, if they even contribute one modicum of a fucking percentage, one tiny little inkling of a percentage point, then I could go out happy. Because if I had one person potentially sway themselves, then I consider this mission a success. But it's going to be a journey, and I invite all of you to come join me on this journey. I am so excited for what I'm going to be working on here. I am incredibly inspired every day by the activism that I see all across the country, be that online or out in real life grassroots organizing. I'm inspired by it. I can't wait to be part of it. It's truly a wonderful time to be organizing. and I'm happy that I have an avenue or an outlet to get my voice out there. So I very much look forward to talking to you all. I am constantly active on Twitter. I shall link my Twitter below. I'm going to have a Discord set up. I'm going to have a Twitch channel, but that's all coming down the road. Then, I think I can really get some organization down and really unite some people. I'd love to connect with you. Give me a follow on Twitter, and we'll go from there. All right. I look forward to talking to you guys in the future. All right. Nothing but peace and love to you, and I'll talk to you all later.